Welcome to another edition of ZBHO Dojo.
Now let's get the show started. Welcome to the ZBHO Dojo. My name is
Spicer, your spicy sin.
and today on the stream, we're gonna be working on some critiques.
We got 2 critiques, maybe 3 critiques. We don't know. Then after that, we're going to be sculpting, we're going to be working, we're going to be putting in that grind. And I hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. But before we get started, everybody, let us give thanks and praise to the Lords and Gods of Sajah. Starting with Frank Frazetta, the All-Father. Thank you, Lord Frank Frazetta. Next, St. Joseph. Next, St. Paul. Look up here. Agabori. Next, Ryan, the King of Slayan. And finally, Simon Lee, Spider of Thank you for your education, your inspiration, and your overall badassness. The dojo salutes you. What is going on, dojo warriors and goddesses? How are you all doing today? Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, we got the hype all day over here. Attentive Slug in the house. Emmanuel Obidi back yet again. Yes, it is that beautiful time to join the Dojo Warriors. Carbon 44 in the chat. I mean it hot. As a crusader for the ZBHO Dojo. All right, let's get over into the dojo. Alrighty, so we got some critiques. Let's see. Let's turn down El Musico. So we're not competing. You know what I'm saying? I know. This sounds weak. Everything sounds weak on this. Sounds weak. There we go. Hello. How's that sound? How's it going? Tell me, chat. Well, how's it going? Too loud, too low? How you know? Mic check 1 2. What it do? All right. Satya, what's going on? Thank you for being here. We are gonna get into these critiques, starting with Marco with his Wolverine, and he finally sent me a ZTL this time. Ryan McLeroy, soon to be a dojo legend himself. Thank you for being here. Alrighty, so Wolverine. Okay, so the initial impression was it was really good. Initial impression is really good, but then when we get closer and closer, we start realizing more and more things wrong with it, right? So what we need to do is work on these eyes because they're kind of bulging out, but there's nothing towards the bottom of the eye, so it's always going to give it this weird look, right? So when I think of Wolverine, I think of lots and lots of testosterone. You know, river claw, you know, all that stuff. All right. Okay. So so I would like to see a little bit more in the face here. Let's grab this face. Let's solo it out. Okay. So your lips are lined up, which if he's doing this or doing that, you know, we need to activate those muscles that are going on in here. Let's see. Do you have subdivision levels? And do you have subdivision levels? No, you don't. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to, I'm just going to work on this side. You want to emphasize these depressor muscles coming down. You want to dig underneath the bottom lip, and you want to provide him with a little bit more chin, because he's always, you know, growling and doing all that stuff, and his chin's always, especially his chin razor right here, is always going to be highly active. So you want to make sure that's in there. These crevices that you're putting in here are way too shallow. I would definitely add a little bit more there. Also, you have this weird bend in your lip, so let's straighten that out. And then your nasal labial fold here, it's just a bit too puffy right around here, like this little triangle right here next to your nostril. There's really not much going on there, so you kind of want to get that going. And then you want your nose to have alar cartilage, because right now your nose isn't it's very simple because the all the forms aren't there, right? So we need that. We need here it's very planar. You want to make sure this is quite soft, and then your alar cartilage or any cartilage in your nose, you know, treat it as more hard surface, and then your nostrils are going to be very organic in comparison, meaning that there's not going to be solid lids or anything like that going around, meaning something like this, right? We don't want a hard edge to this because that's not what your nostril is doing. It's always going to have a nice soft edge to it. Okay. The next thing that you need to do to kind of complete this nose is we need to send that back, get this a little bit deeper here. Oy. Right there. And then you want to make sure that your septal cartilage and your nostrils don't line up. Your nostrils should be behind the end of your septal cartilage, so something like that, right? And then we're going to have the alar cartilage, which is the button of our nose, and then we're going to have the septal cartilage coming down here, right there, and then go around. Okay, and then it's going to go back up into the nose right here. And every single person that has a nose is going to have this little shelf here where the alar cartilage is going into the nasal cartilage. Okay. Christ Jesus! Thank you for being here, Johannes. Thank you for coming back. IT bit bacon. I had a big bacon. I love when teachers explain like this in real time. Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, and so we want a little bit more round, right? A little bit more fleshy instead of plainer. Okay, so we've got that, and then your philtrum right here is a little bit too wide, so it should be coming off right. So this septal cartilage is going to go down here. It's going to intersect with that, and then you kind of want to dig around here, and then your philtrum right here is going to come off of each side of your septal cartilage right here, and then it's going to create your philtrum. And where your philtrum is where the pads of your upper lip are, right? So you're going to have your first pad right here, and then 2 pads on each side. We're going to have a little bit more depth in here. And that's one thing with your sculpture, is that everything's pretty much at the same depth when there's multiple versions, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's there's different depths around the body, and all of your depth is pretty much the same. So we want to have this right here, your nasal labial fold, come down and over and pull around right here, and then come back up, and then right, and then you want the node of your mouth. Reason being is that this is a connection point for all the articulation that we have on the side of our mouth. Okay, so you have your zygomatic major, you have your buccinator, and then you have your depressor as well. And so all that is connecting to this right here, right? So your depressor muscle right there, coming off right there. Okay, so and then you can see the cheek is just one smooth curve, right? And we need something a little bit more substantial, especially for a Wolverine. So even though we're making these changes, we still, even though they're not going to be seen by the mask, they're still going to influence the mask, right? So if you had this, you would your mask wouldn't seem so smooth. It would have edges and planes and dips and dives and all that stuff, and you really need to bring that into this, because Wolverine's very, very rough, and we don't want, whenever we look at the sculpture, it shouldn't be tame. It should be feral in its execution, right? So now that's going to influence a whole lot of other things, right? So I'm just going to keep sculpting on this face because it's pretty much where we need to start. Okay, after you get the face done, feel free to send this back for another critique, and this goes out to everybody in the dojo right now. Every Tuesday I stream. I'm not going to be streaming next Tuesday, but every Tuesday I stream, and I prefer to start off with critiques like this, because whenever I started, I would have absolutely gone ape nuts over an opportunity like this. Especially, I don't have to pay for it, I don't have to do anything, I just gotta join a Discord and post my work there before the stream, and then 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna review it. I mean, I would have done so much to have an opportunity like this. So I want to make sure that y'all have it, and so if you want to have your piece critiqued, then join the dojo. It's right here. We every Monday night we have a sculpt off. Yesterday's theme was Ultra Mega, and let's see, where's mine? Oh, there it is. So this is one that you have 3 hours to sculpt it, and yeah. So did this all in 3 hours, and posted it up there. So that's what a lot of the people in the dojo participate in the dojo sculpt off. Whenever it's Diablo or something like that, something that's a little bit more popular, we have a whole lot more entries. But for Ultra Mega, it wasn't. It was a little bit less than usual, but it was still really, really good. I mean, you can see everything people were able to get done in 3 hours, especially with Sparks. Did almost a 1-for-1 on this guy, and it looks really, really great. So good job, Sparks, and thanks for boosting the server as well. Same to Batman. Thank you very much. So there you go. So there's the link. Discord is open. It is free. Feel free to join. And join us on the Sculpt Offs every Monday from 8:30 to 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you have critique submissions here to post so that I can go over them and help you out. Okay. So let's see right here. My pleasure, Zay. My pleasure. Alrighty. So next we want to kind of have our, well, we don't want to kind of, we want to have our orbicularis oris here, which is this muscle that goes around. It's kind of like our orbicularis oris, but it's orbicularis or orbicularis oculi and orbicularis oris, right? It's kind of like the same muscle that just goes around and around and around and around and around. Okay, so it's going to provide some type of form here and volume that you're kind of missing, and it's a little bit inconsistent with what would be normally expected from the orbicularis oris, because you have, it's really, really puffy up here, and there's really not a lot of depth, so we have to send that back, and then it's able to come forward. But I would look at examples of guys with lots of testosterone, so that you can get a little bit better reference on the face, because they're going to have a nice square jaw with this wing of the angle of the jaw like really sticking out. And I would start observing that and then bringing that into your sculpture here, and just add more testosterone to the face, I guess is the best way to describe it. But now, if we're looking at that, disregarding the mask, right? You can see how much more, there's certain levels of depth, right? This is the deepest, and then we have all these other forms of depth that you just don't have in the face, as everything's very smooth. And then the jaw seems like it's going in as opposed to outward, right? Because of this angle of the jaw right here should be very, very substantial whenever you have a whole lot of testosterone. Okay, so I would go over the face one more time and then send it back to me, and then we'll take a look, and then yeah, so let's move on. Jolly Roger back in the chat. Jolly Roger, thanks for coming back. Carlos Santana, what's going on? Hey Mandibles is into the Joe. Oscar Barelas Hernandez, 30 users watching and just 14 likes. Where is the love? Thank you very much, Oscar. Mala fama, que onda, perrito. ShareRx, amazing information. Look at a lot of guys on the juice, on the juices. Did you ever change the alpha so the clay brush doesn't require smoothing later? I like the really sketchy feel of it. I really do enjoy that of the clay buildup. I like it. Sergio Santel, how are you, sir? Thank you very much for joining. Alrighty, so let's move on. Let us move on. So the next one we have is Hunter. This one is from a Dojo Warrior. Who was it? Johnny NYC. So much 3D. The love is here, mijo. From Houston, Texas. Welcome. That's where I was born. I was born in Houston, Texas, brother. Shit. That's my stomping ground, brother. Houston has some of the best restaurants in the world. It's just so good. Happy to be working while the stream educates and entertains. Love your work, man. Thank you very much. Sparks! Coming in hot! Coming in hot. We were just talking about you, Sparks. Might want to go to YouTube and rewind about a minute or two. Alrighty. So, Johnny NYC. I'm not sure what this guy is doing. I don't know if he's lunging forward or if he's creeping while he's hunting or he's recoiling while he's stabbing, right? So the first thing that I would change with this is whatever he is doing, take it to the extreme max. Let me show you what I mean by that. Trying to find this image. Give me a second. Alrighty. Open image and new tab. Okay. Trying to find the specific one that I'm looking for, but found an example we can use. Well, let's talk about this one for right now. All right, so you can see how exaggerated all these looks. Looks like he's about to trip over his foot. Right here, he's got his axe in mid-motion. You got this guy making a V right here, drawing attention to the face. And everything's out, right? Nothing's just laying down and he's just doing this, right? It's going as far as we possibly can, putting the fingers out, flaying the clothes, and all of that stuff is what we need to be looking for whenever we're posing these characters, because we don't want to spend all this time that you spent with this sculpture trying to get all this right, and then the pose is not going to serve you the way that you want it to. Let me trying to find a specific one. Well, let's bring it over here so at least y'all can see me going through here. Yeah, so first things first is to really drive home that pose. If anything, I would be copying Frank Frazetta's work over and over and over and over and over again until, I mean, like, even look at this, right? Direction, movement. You know, it seems in movement. It doesn't seem like it's posing. Like, this guy seems like he's emerging through, you know, it's just that sense of motion. And the trick to getting that is to not pose your character, but to put them in motion. Well, you know, in your mind, obviously, because you're not going to rig this character and then animate it. But you want to imagine that this character is in motion and that you stopped the frame of the movie. And that way you're never posing. You're always directing, and you're always in control of what's going on. But yeah, I can't find this image. I don't know where it is. But yeah, so that's what I would think about more on this, right? So, but in terms of anatomy, yeah, because it's like here it looks like he's standing still. Here it looks like he's going to the left. Here it looks like he's standing still, and here it looks like he's kind of scooting back. So you have your body language is all off. Okay, so I would spend some time on that. Alrighty, so anatomically, let's talk about this throat area. By the way, before we get started, the face is looking pretty good. Lots of good planes. Things you want to pay attention to is that this is going kind of behind your ear when it should be in front of your ear. And then be very careful about the rounding of this angle of the jaw, right? If we want it to read masculine, we really need to spend some time on that angle of the jaw and make sure it's out, okay? Anytime that you have a dip in your jawline, you're going to age them. So I don't know how old you want this guy to be, but he looks like in his 50s, somewhere around there, just because the jawline is a little wavy. So you know, it's whatever you want to be there. If you want him to look older, you can do that, okay? Nasal labial fold is looking good. Looking good. The line for the master is looking good. Zygomatic is looking pretty good. I would just move it down a little bit because we want this lined up with the ear. Put that right about there. Okay. So, now we're going to connect the sternocleidomastoid. So for everyone that doesn't know what that is, it's this bone right here that brings this sternocleidomastoid right here to the head of your sternum, right? Not the head of your clavicles. So the head of your sternum, right? And it pulls it this way, pulls it that way. Okay, so we have the sternocleido right here. That's where the bone is. And we're going to connect this, bring it forward, and have it go here where you have it. Thing is that you don't have enough space because you should be able to fit 2 fingers right here and then have the clavicle. So you just need a little bit more space so that all this doesn't seem so cramped together. Okay, so a little bit. Okay, sorry, my mic was getting all wiggly. All right, so so here, right? We need, by the time it gets here, it's a very, very small tendon. So you don't want to be creating a whole lot of form right here, okay? Unless they're, you know, taking a really hard one on the toilet or something like that. Yeah. So you want to be very careful with that. Then you want to have this jaunt that comes off of it right here, and be a little bit more aggressive right here. A little bit more aggressive right here. Right there, right there. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So that's kind of what that should look like. Your pectoralis is ending right here. It should end right here. So it needs to go all the way over. And then that way you can have a bit of an armpit because you're building this up and out, right? This is not going to, because when you're doing this, you're pulling the pec over, right? You're stretching it over the rib cage, so it's not going to have a lot of volume as opposed to doing this, right? Where we're compacting the muscles together as opposed to stretching them out, right? So be very careful about how much form you add here. And generally with this, he's not going to have an underhang here. He'll probably just have just striations right there. Again, it's you want to have a whole lot of reference. One thing I see a lot of students doing is just sculpting from imagination, and they think that's what the job is, and that's not what the job is. The job is to use life and to make it art, right? So find some sport where they do this, right? Some sport or shoveling or something, I don't know. I don't know, or maybe sawing or something like that, and really see if you can find some reference of the mechanics of the body on that, right? So this one stretched out, boom, 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 boom. Okay, this one should be bulked up, right? So this one should be going over, and we should have it bulked up because we're bringing it forward, right? So it's going to have a whole lot more mass here. So we're going to boom, 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 boom. All right, so here we're going to have a whole lot more. Boom, 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 boom. Right there, right there. Right here. Give it a little bit more towards the center. Right there, okay? Something like that. Okay. So next thing is your rib cage. It's just going straight up, right? You can see it's just going straight up. We need to always make sure this is going back in towards the clavicle, okay? Especially around the 8th rib. So that's going to be right at the top of your second set of abs. You want to keep that angle out, and then you want to bring this back because, right, your chest is like this. Right, if we're gonna super simplify it, so this would be like the head of the triangle, boom, and then comes around, right? So something like that, and then your lat can be in the background. Okay, so so we've got that, and now we've got a rib cage right here, and then we've got a lat behind it. Your lat's going to come from your armpit. And then it's going to go forward before it goes back. Right here. And also Scott Eaton's Body in Motion. Bodies in Motion. Bodies in Motion. This is an amazing resource for reference, right? Scott Eaton, if you don't know who he is, he's a grand master of anatomy and teaching anatomy. But he has all these photos and all these things for specifically for artists, giving us lighting, positioning, and all that to support you as a 2D and 3D artist. Right, so you can kind of, put together what's happening. All you have to do is just bend this arm, and then it's kind of in the same position as your guy. Right, so we can start. Where's the full screen? So now we can go in here and we can really see what's happening. Right, here's the lat going around. Here's the skin buckling. And all that. He's arching his back a little bit more, but you can just use this area. Right, here's his clavicle, there's the chromium process, lateral head, anterior head, posterior head, tricep, olecranon, extensors, ulna furrow, biceps, or was it brachioradialis, all that stuff, right? So you can kind of, and that's just one photo, that's just one motion. In a library of all that. So I would definitely check out Bodies in Motion. It's an amazing resource, one that if you're a sculptor, you need 100%. You need it. All right, so your trapezius is coming from your occipital protuberance right here, so the back of your skull, originating here and then coming forward and attaching to the front of your clavicle, to the acromion process, and all along the scapula here. Okay, so your scapula right here is gonna go right there, and what you're missing here is the heads of your the heads of your deltoid. Okay, so you're gonna have your acromion process right here, and this is going to go right there, right there, right there. Okay, And that's going to end halfway down your humerus. And that's going to be the first head, okay? And we're just blocking this out. If we wanted to go to the secondary detail, it would be totally different, totally separate lecture on that. This needs to go around, so this is going to be your posterior head of your deltoid, and you want to connect it to the corner of your spine of the scapula right here, right? Spine to blade right here is kind of where you want to attach it, but all the form is going to end before we get there, right? Because all this that I'm sculpting right now is just a tendon, okay? So, and then you're going to have your anterior head here as well, coming over, boom, 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 coming over there. And then you're going to have the connection point where you have all these striations. Most of the striations on your shoulder muscle are going to be on the lateral head. This is where you have like multiple heads like coming together. So this is generally where you're going to have most of the striations, okay? Let's see. Your obliques right here, you need to end them right around here. And then you want to bring in your, what is it called? Your, I forgot what these are called. If anybody knows in the chat, let me know. But yeah, those are two separate muscles, okay? And so we want to add a bit of a plane here to the front of the oblique. Boom, 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 boom. Transverse abdominis right here, coming over and down, okay? So boom, 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 right there, right there, right there, okay? So that's kind of like where the oblique is going to be coming from right here. And then your lat is going to complete this, and then your oblique is going to come over. You're going to have a little bit of a fossa right there as it's coming off of the 9th rib. You got your tensor fascia latae sketched in. And let's see, let's bring this shoulder down a little bit. It's a little bit too much volume there in the corner. Mark, what's going on, brother? And so we want to have kind of like the end of the scapula here pointing out, because whenever you do that, you're kind of lifting your scapula back. So it's going to do that. You still want to have the serratus muscles coming off of the end of the scapula. And generally with the scapula, I'm going to flatten it out first, right? I'm going to flatten, because that's generally what it's going to be represented as whenever you're sketching it in, then connect it, right? And now we got this nice flat bit, and we're gonna get this teres major. If you don't know what the teres major is, it's kind of like the pectoralis for the back, right? What I mean by that is that it's very important that you have it there, or it's like not having chest muscles, okay, on the front of your character. So this serratus right here is coming off of your scapula and then going 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, right? And so that's what your serratus, this serratus is going in a weird direction. This should be the armpit right here. Right there, but you've got your serratus there for each rib. No, that's not this one. Alrighty, so boom, 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 boom. Alrighty, so you're also going to have this little knock right here in the scapula where the trapezius is coming off. So the trapezius originates again from the occipital protuberance, comes down. You can kind of bulk that up. And since we're bringing this arm back, this trap is going to be bulked up. So we want to have that bulked up right here. And then this one is coming forward, so we want this one to be a little bit more relaxed, right? So boom, 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 boom. And also with the neck, you want to be very careful that we don't get this swooping motion for the neck, right? We want a cylinder, and then we want the traps to come out, okay? So what I'm going to do now is just ensure that this is looking good, and a little bit more volume for the origination of that. Okay, so yeah, those are the things that I would work on for yours. And then this, you just want to bring the skin over. Here again, find lots and lots of reference. You can't do this just straight from your imagination. I don't know many people that can. Even Alex Ross has lots and lots of whatchamacallit, reference up whenever he is painting or drawing anything. And so, yeah, make sure to get as much reference as you can. Okay. Next thing would be this brachialis. It's kind of doing that, and you just want to bring it off of the end of the deltoid right here, and just bring that there. Okay. This muscle that you're swirling around and doing is the brachial radialis right here, right? So that's a brachial radialis. If it was, 0% fat, you would see one head and then two heads right here. Okay. And then you want to have the short head of the tricep, and this is attaching to your humerus up here. So be careful with the amount of volume that you put here. You don't want to just suddenly let it die off right there. So you're going to have the egg, the tail, that's going to be behind the brachial radialis, right? So boom, 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 right there. And then the long head. So you have one, and then you have two. And so this one's just a little bit too puffy. It's just going to be an epicondyle. And then you're going to have your pronator teres, which allows you to flip your hand over to a pronated position. Pronator teres. And then your flexors are going to originate from there. And so hopefully you can see how just one bony landmark can get you 3 or 4 muscles. And if you just slowly study these, you don't have to, it's not a race or anything. And you take your time and really, really try to understand these things, you'll become a better sculptor very, very quickly, because you're able to sketch these things out. Like basic anatomy is just, it's the same puzzle over and over and over and over again. Okay. It's the same story over and over and over again. So you read the story the first time, and it's going to take you a while because you want to imagine everything, etc., etc. But then after a while, you read the book like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Then now you're just kind of skimming through it, right? Because you know the story now, so you can kind of like skip through and etc., etc. So anatomy is kind of like the same thing. Soon as you know one bit and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, it becomes part of your memory, and then you are able to sculpt without as much reference to kind of block your character in, right? Because I don't need reference to block the character in. I need reference to bring life into the block out that I've done, right? So definitely get your reference together. Use it, because you can always tell when someone hasn't, because there's just so many small little things that you're not going to be able to just pull out of your head. You're going to have to observe it and analyze it, break it down, and then use it. So yep, that's what I would do, brother. So hopefully that helps. Let's take a look. Right. Okay. So that'll hopefully clear up this area, give you a rib cage with some serratus muscles as opposed to just this lump here, and then kind of honing in the arm a bit more so we don't have weird forms on the lateral side. Okay. All right. Let's see. Jolly Roger, I heard that NFTs cost a lot in fees. Is this true? It depends. Whenever we got on Foundation with Modern Weirdos, it was initially hundreds of dollars to list and mint things, but now it's like $12, $34. So, I mean, you'd be paying a maximum of $100 to mint and list something, generally around $40 to $50 now. So I don't know if they were getting their fees up front or what. So, but now it's super cheap. It's like 12. I mean, the last one we did cost us $15 to list and mint it. So. Spox, what's going on? Ryan McLeroy, how would you approach a stubble for a 1/6 scale print? There is a brush that I use. I don't know where it is now. You might have to buy it now. But when he first brought this out, it was free. We have a short hair brush. Where is it? Short hair brush, short hair. And so it's this spray alpha with this line. Cancel. Let's go all the way back. All right, where is it? There it is. All right, so yeah, so there's this brush. Oh, wait, where are you going? Go all the way. And there you go. Okay, so but basically you just do that, and you got the stubble. Right, get a little smaller brush. And you've got all this stubble. It depends in terms of what size it is. If it's 1/4 or something like that, you'll really sculpt it in as most possibly even a separate mesh. But I would say around the 1/8 to 1/10, you probably don't need to do as much of this and just have it colored, right? But yeah, so it'll give you that stubble. Okay. Alrighty. Ordy. When do you know that you already have a project well finished and ready for the portfolio? That's a good question. I generally just have a goal that I want to reach with the piece, and then as soon as I get there, I mean, I'm able to sculpt pretty quickly now, so it doesn't take me that long to get pretty far. So I can kind of, within the first 3 hours, I can tell if I'm going to finish this thing or not. So, but whenever I say it's finished, would be, you know, all the primary, secondary, and tertiary details are there. The movement, you can sense it. The lighting's good. The rendering's good. The color's good. All that, and then that's definitely a stopping point to where I can render it out and post it up, and then move on to the next piece. So, Frank Ucci, hey, how you doing? How are you today? I'm doing good. What about you, brother? Rodolph Farah Official. Sorry, I'm late, Sensei. Zay, when you work off of reference, do you prefer a rough sketch or a highly detailed concept art? Either way, if it's a client, I want it as detailed as possible. If it's for my own work, then I prefer it kind of rough. That way I have enough room to kind of be myself in it as well. Ryan McLeroy javelin. Oh yeah, where you throw the toothpick as far as you can. Ashref, what's going on? Sumerian King is back. Christopher May Art, what's going on? Mark Carroll's here. Frank Ucci, doing good. Minecraft Alex, is ZBrush a good program? One of the best. Gaming Mania made it back. Balls Aplenty made it back. Is ZBrush a good program? Is like asking, does a bear in the woods? Juan Jose Salazar Morales. Hi, Master of the Dojo. NFS, no, we don't. No, we don't want to become famous. Who the hell would buy their followers? Get the hell out of here. John Crosby, thank you for the critique. My pleasure. Another Lebowski. Want to become famous, Master? ShareX Spam coming in hot. Whisker King, you doing critiques? Yep, sure am. Brandon Klaushaus. Do you have any IRL anatomy building tips? Lots of weights, lots of steroids. Omar Castillo, hi. When I sculpt different poses, when I sculpt difficult poses, when do you pose? Right from the beginning or when your T-pose is okay? I would say if it's it depends what it is. If it has a lot of armor on it, then I will do it in T-pose just so I can have it there and see it all put together with like a rough block-in of the body. And then I will pose the character, sculpt it out, and then take those pieces and put them back on the body. That's one way of doing it. If it's Conan, then I'm just going to sculpt straight from the start. I'm going to sculpt in pose. Gaming Mania, at what age did you start to first 3D model? I would say about 10, almost 11 years. Well, I would say 11 years ago I started. Spicer, please, I need tips for posing. Should I sculpt on a T or A pose, then I make the pose I want, or should I sculpt the pose I want from the start? Depends on where your level is with anatomy and all that. I would... Ricky! Ricky, are you there? I'm here, Janet. And I love you. Oh, Ricky. I meant you so much, Ricky. Well, I had to save the world again. In Mortal Kombat. I had to fight a guy. They called him Scorpion. Oh my god, he sounds so scary, Ricky. It was okay. I just kept tripping him over and over and over again. He couldn't help himself. Oh, that's so smart, Ricky. Thank you, Janet. Next, I have to go solve a little problem. Or actually, there's a big problem. Where do you have to go, Ricky? Where there's big trouble in Little China. Oh my god, Ricky. Are you gonna be okay, Ricky? I don't know, Janet. This may be the last time we talk. But I love you. I love you too, Ricky. Why are you being so quiet, Ricky? I don't know. I'm just totally lost about how beautiful you are. Anyway, I'm gonna go clang and bang at the gym, and then I'm gonna go solve that big trouble in Little China. Make sure to take the 17-man bag with you. I will. Egg Chin, he's gonna help me with his dojo warriors. It's gonna be beautiful. And then I'm gonna fight a guy, his name's Lopan. He's been around for thousands of years, taking human form with Mao Yen. Oh, Ricky, you're such a hero, Ricky. Thank you, Janet. I love you. Next time on Janet and Ricky. All right, so where was I? What the hell? Where was I? Johannes Tenner, give the man some more likes, guys. Oh yeah. Zay, thank you, brother. My pleasure. Maxi Salija, where can I get the short hairbrush? I would just type in short hairbrush, ZBrush, and see if you can find it that way. Shex art. That voice, nice Spanish. Gracias para ti. Jamie McGow, did I miss the mushroom tutorial? It's coming. Frank Uchi, I always have some trouble with the transpose. Can you possibly help me with that? Thank you so much. What issues are you having with transpose? You gotta let me know what trouble you're having. Sean Darling, be careful, Ricky. Let's see. Jamie McGow, I never knew Ricky was so smart. I love them. Ricky clangs so hard. Back your daily scheduled show. Oh yeah. Alrighty, so that's what we got there. I don't think I have any more critiques in the dojo to do. Oh, I got two. Juanjo. Let's see. All right, and then we got Andy, and that's going to be the last one. Well, that is going to be the last one, people, here in the dojo. And I swear to God, if that's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Andy, I swear to God. Swear to God. Okay. So, this one is from Juan. Juan. Alrighty, Juan. Let's see. Real. Face is going in a good direction. I think that's the base head, right? That's a base head. Is that this guy? Looks like him. Alrighty. So let's start with the jawline. So your jawline is very feminine due to its softness here. What you want to do is give it a little bit more of an angle for a traditional masculine jawline. Okay, and then you can kind of straighten it out as well. Okay, and straight across from your nose is the bottom of your skull. So it should be right around there. And then you kind of want to shave that off. Smooth it out. There we go. Okay. And then yours is going back and then forward. It needs to just roll forward. Okay. So, and then it's got this lump here too. So you want to be very careful that this is a cylindrical shape, and it depends on how much testosterone, how muscular you are. If you're a normal guy, it's just going to come around. It's going to wrap around a cylinder of your neck and then attach. With masculinity, like Superman or something, the sternocleidomastoid, or the mastoid process right here, is so large that the neck is coming outside of the jawline, right? So that's what's going to signify a whole lot of testosterone there. Do you have two meshes here? Oh, no, you just have them. What the hell is going on? All right, there we go. Confusing me over here, Juan. What are you doing? Okay. So we've got that coming back. We need the what is that? I always say it every day. What is that? The acromion process right there. It's this little flat part right here. If you can feel it on yours right here, you just feel it. It's this little flat part for your sternocleid, or I already forgot the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about. Acromion process, right? So right here, boom, 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 boom. Remember, it's originating from the back of the head, the occipital protuberance, and then coming forward. This is all neck right here, okay? That's all should be cylindrical neck. And then this shouldn't have as much volume right there, because remember, it's a tendon by this point. So tendons and all that don't really create a lot of mass at all. So you want to be very careful. Right there, right there, right there. Okay. So next, we kind of want to put a little bit more of a curve in this shoulder girdle. Right there. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Your bicep is this way. It should be going into the pit of your arm right here, right? So yours is going into your epicondyle, right? So it should be going this way, right? Because that's where you have this forearm. So boom, comes over and that way, and then your bicep's going to feed into there. Your bicep is going to attach to a point underneath your shoulder right here. So you want to make sure that your bicep is going that way and then that way, okay? So be very careful with that. And also the mass of your forearm compared to the mass of your upper arm is kind of off. I mean, it's not to say that there's people with larger forearms than normal, but generally this is going to be much smaller. Your elbow needs to be its own thing. Right now it's kind of mixing in with a bunch of other stuff, and you want it to be its own thing. Okay. What I mean by that is right here you're going to have the lateral head, boom, 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 long head, and then you're going to have the aponeurosis that comes from your elbow and attaches to all that. And then you're going to have the long head here that attaches to your epicondyle. So we need to shave this down. It'll be right there. Pronator teres right here. And then you want to have all this come out from your medial epicondyle. You want your wrist to be very rectangular when you're blocking it in, because there's no muscle or anything to really give it in an organic form. It's just tendons and bone at this point. So you want to represent that with a very hard surface feel there. Here, I want to shave off a little bit more because it's just a little bit too bulky right there. Bring this in, going in towards the wrist. You're gonna have all of these go into the palm, the center of your palm. You're gonna bring this over. You need to have this kind of coming out more than everything else, and then your flexors are gonna come out of this lateral epicondyle of your humerus right here. Your brachial radialis is gonna come out that way. Your tricep, and then the head right here. Your shoulder is going to end halfway down your humerus. We're going to start from the very beginning. Okay. And we want to, since it's diving down right here, right? It should be diving down into the humerus. And then the brachial, or the brachialis, is going to come out from the bottom of your deltoid. Okay, so boom, right there, right there, right there. Okay, so this is going to be going over right here. Right there. So your pectoralis goes over your bicep. Okay. And you want to have your bicep kind of coming out from there. You want to end the anterior head where this curve is, and then allow your pectoralis to come through. Right there. You want much more depth here. and your pectoralis is just a little bit. It was just connecting way too much along there. Kind of right here, it's just, you know, hanging over the rib cage. It's not really attached to it per se. There, it's just stretched over the rib cage. So don't get that confused with it being attached all under here, because it's not. Okay, and then you're gonna have that tail that's gonna attach to the 6th rib, right about there. Okay, let's get this anterior head right there. And let's fix this bicep a little bit more. You're gonna have your brachialis right here, epicondyle where your tricep is going to attach to. You're going to have your coracoid brachialis right here. It's a little triangle. You're going to have the end of your long head, and then the beginning of your 3rd head of your tricep. And then this just needs to be shaved down. And whenever you have your arm like this, your bicep is not going to reach there. So you kind of need to end it prematurely before it gets there, and then you can get that line there. You get that. So, you know, whenever you flex your arm, it's going to flex, it's going to end, and then it's going to have that there, the tendons. And so you kind of want to have that represented here as well. Okay, and then here you want your rib cage roughly be right about there, and we need more room for our obliques, so we need to bring this down a little bit more, because we don't want the rib cage going into our hips, right? So we'll be very careful with that. And then just add the shape of the rib cage. This 8th rib is then going to become the oblique here. Boom, boom, boom. And go there. All right, so now we have a rib cage, and then we have a lat. All right, so that's one thing that I would say is the biggest telltale sign of someone who's still learning the basics of anatomy is not having a rib cage present at all times for body styles like this, right? So your abs, you have the lines here, but you don't have the depth. So you need either to put a line down the center and then call it a day in terms of how athletic his stomach is, or you need to go in here and really dig in with that. Okay, so you're gonna have false abs right here. You're going to have your first true ab, which is going to end around your 8th rib, which is going to be where your rib and your oblique come together. So that's roughly going to be right about there. And then you're going to have your 2nd real abs, and then your keg right here, right? So right there, okay? And boom, boom, boom. Right, bringing all that down, making sure that this ends, right? We don't want it to just continue for that. Okay. And generally with this type of body type, we're not going to have a meat wall for the abs. It's going to have a little bit more intricacy with it. It's going to all right, we won't talk about the back, but that's roughly what I would do to kind of change this up to make it just a little bit more believable in the anatomy realm. So here, right there, right there. Okay. So let's see. Okay. All right. So you can see yours is just ending, and then you just have a wrinkly shoulder. This one's a little bit more. You can see your trap is just going into your shoulder. My trap ends, and then my shoulder begins, right? Your bicep is facing the viewer when it should be facing outwards, because you have your arm like this, right? So your bicep's not going to be facing this way. It's going to be facing that way. It's always going to be facing your hand, right? So your bicep should line up with your hand. It shouldn't be going this way, okay? And then a little bit more ab, and definitely a whole lot more rib work in here. Again, you have these lines, and I know it's a thing to do whenever you're still learning and all of that, but you really need to get out of the habit of that and start sculpting these lines instead of just drawing them in. Okay. So that's what I would do for yours. Okay. Alrighty. Frank Uchi, I can't seem to figure out how to use it. Okay, so let's say we have this. We're going to mask extract. We're just gonna go down. Let's go 0.005. Got this. Cancel. Boom. Extract. Accept. Okay, so we've got this. We're gonna erase or get rid of the mask. We've got this. It's gonna be our shoulder. Extract. Accept. Looks like I did it twice. Okay, so delete. Okay, so here, let's get that. So let's get this, and then let's add a piece here. Okay, extract, accept. Alrighty, so we have all these things in different subtools, right? So we've got this head. We're gonna delete this because we don't need it. But we've got all this, right? We've got our armor, we've got something here, some, whatever, and then we got leg armor, and we've got torso armor. Okay, so if I wanted to move all these at the same time, I would press T-pose. So that's Z plugin, T-pose master, or transpose master. You're going to press T-pose mesh. What that's going to do is it's going to send everything down to its lowest subdivision level, and it's going to put it all in one piece. So now I can grab this, BML, and so I can grab his head right here, boom, right there, grab this, fade it, and it looks like I got that too. Okay, and so now I can kind of rotate this. Where is it? Yeah, I knew it. All right, so so we can rotate the head. We can do all of that. All right, look that way, that type of stuff. We can grab this this arm. Say we want to move it out a little bit more. Fade, 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 fade. Put the widget where the bone would be. Bring that out, and then we can then go Z plugin, T-pose master, T-pose sub T. And that's going to take all of our changes and it's going to put it back in our original subtool file arrangement. And so now we can continue working. Okay. All right. Alrighty. Yeah, so hopefully that helps you out, Frank. Zay, do you ever try to model skeletons for stylized sculpts? No, I don't. No, I do not. Omar, Master, do you pose with a lot of hard surface pieces? No, I do it in A pose, and then I pose the character, and then I put the armor back on. Eric Zan, hello there. Gaming Media, have a nice day, Spicer. Thanks for the stream. My pleasure. Zay, should abs be non-symmetrical? Some are, some aren't. Frederick Lynn, what's up? Brendan Kraushaus. All of my abs are fake. When are you gonna start streaming it again, Brendan? Robert Foster, what's going on? Juan Jose Salazar Morales. Thank you for the critique, Spicer. My pleasure, my pleasure. Gaming Mania, wow, that is super good. Spicer, thank you so much. My pleasure. Gaming Mania, awesome technique. Awesome. Frank Uchi, sure does. Thank you so much, my friend. My pleasure. Zay, do you use any custom matte caps? Skin Shade 4 is pretty bright. No, I just use the Basic Material 1. Basic Material right here is the only one I ever use. I find if I change it to something else whenever I go into rendering, that it gives me strange results. So I prefer to have it like this. That way it's always going to be consistent. I mean, I guess it's not really the material. It's the fact that I've used this material so much, I know what to expect whenever I send it to another program. If I use one of these other matte caps, I'm going to have to relearn all that stuff. But you said Skin Shade 4, is that what you said? Skin Shade. It's that Skin Shade 4. Where is it? There it is. Ay, Dios mío, that is too bright. All right. Too bright. Alrighty. So, yeah. We are done with, or are we done? No, we got the rock. Alrighty. So, let's go film. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. So, let's see. Dwayne Rock Johnson. Again, make sure you end your skull, because it seems like it's just continuing straight across from the nose is generally where it's going to be. Okay. The tallest part of this is a front. It needs to be the back third, right? And then the head just may be a little bit too long in general. So bring that in a little bit more. He should have an Adam's apple right here, so a little bit more right here. And then you really want to make sure this is diving into behind the sternum, right? So we want to get that right. BMV. So we kind of want, right, we want this exchange of forms here where we have this in the foreground, that in the background, diving down, right? It's kind of what we are looking for. And then for the rock, probably widen his neck a little bit, let it meet his jaw. And then here you've got a lot of it's just rolling in, and we need to have the solidity of the mandible first. Okay, we need to have that, or else it's never going to look right. Okay, and then make sure that you have the master here. Okay, the eyes are kind of coming together a little bit too closely. Okay, so what we need is the end of the orbit, which is going to come around and go back in right here. Okay, so we need to end that orbit, and then we can have the glabella coming off of that. Okay, so right there, if you want, you're going to have the superciliary arches right here. And then you want to have enough space here. You want to have the glabella right here. Your glabella isn't really there. So you want the glabella, you want the nasal bone, and then you want the septal cartilage going into the nose. You want to make sure that your nostrils are behind your septal cartilage. You want to make sure that your nasal labial fold is coming in. And it's going around the node of your mouth. And then you want to make sure you have the nodes of your mouth. You want to make sure underneath the lip is where it's the deepest right here, and then have the chin come out from there. Make sure your chin isn't too wide, right? It is only right here, and then you have mandible right there, and then you have depressor muscles right there, right here, right there. And then you can see how far it's dipping back. You want to be a little bit more. Remember, orbicularis oris. Coming around a little bit deeper in the philtrum. And generally, you're going to have the septal cartilage sticking out right there. A little bit more of the infraorbital furrow here. Okay. Your eyelid is very, very sharp. So be very careful with that. First, make sure that it's equal distance around the eye. Alrighty, there we go. You also want to give him a forehead. So that's going to be right there. And then you want diving down into the temporal arch from the forehead. Smooth. Smooth. Right. Have this. Have that. Make sure this is all coming from there. Make sure the mastoid process is pretty substantial for a guy like this. And probably a little bit more depth around here. Just so we can have the nose be the nose. And then the cheek be the cheek. Okay. So those are the things that you are missing on this. If you are going to do eyebrows, I would have them as separate meshes so you can have a little bit more control over it. Let's dig around this tarsal plate to make sure it's going around the eye. We don't want it, because yours is, we just need to be a little bit more definitive about it. Right? So something like that. And then from one end to the next, right here, and then we can have that tarsal plate right in there. Make sure the bottom eyelid is coming from within the top eyelid, right? We don't want these to meet that often, although it does happen, right? But it happens so rarely that we don't want to get into a habit of doing it for every character. Okay. Here you're gonna have your canthal tendon attached to your infraorbital furrow here, and so your infraorbital furrow is roughly going to be right around there. Then you're going to have the orbit right here, which you can have all types of, you know, nasal fat, preaponeurotic, temporal, or central temporal, right there. Okay. You can have a little bit more of an edge here, and just make sure this canthal tendon comes out. And also, you see how your inner canthal tendon is pretty much straight across. To avoid all this suction here at the medial canthal tendon, You should have these at about a 15-degree tilt, right? From here to there. Right there. You want to have your lacrimal punctum. So that's going to be this little lift. We're going to do it in low res. All right, so you should have a lift here. Right. So you're going to have your canthal tendon down here. Boom, and then it goes down. For your bottom eyelid, it's going to go straight across. And then it's going to go around. Right there. Okay? So now you have, instead of having almond eyes, you have something a little bit more lifelike. Right? Jesus. Bayito, thank you for joining ZBHO Dojo. All right, so that's kind of what I would do there, and then make sure that these aren't coming too far, right? They should be behind the note of your mouth, right? It shouldn't be like that, right? Here. And then your mouth is very flat. You want to make sure it's got a barrel feel to it, right? A little bit more round. Bring that right there, right there. And so, you know, it's may not look exactly like The Rock, but, you know, this critique was more about the foundations of your head sculpting, as opposed to making it look more like The Rock. So keep these things in mind. You're also going to have these muscles here. But yep. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Alrighty. And then, yeah. So that's what I would do for yours, brother. And then watch out for this dip back here. Right, you want to have the zygomatic arch pretty substantial on this guy. Yeah, this brush is a little bit too big. Want to have the zygomatic arch, and then you want to have everything diving down into it. All right, this area that I'm sculpting right now is going to be the widest part of the face, not of the head, but of the face. And then you want all of this temporalis. So we're going to have the just equichet this for you. Temple. And then your temporalis, right? So this is where your temporalis is going to be housed, and it's all going to feed. Oops! It's all going to feed into the zygomatic arch right here, right? So boom, 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 right? And you just want to make sure that you don't suddenly have a dip in volume around the temporal arch. Okay, so just be careful. Alrighty, and just make sure you get that rock skull shape that he has. But yeah, so that's what I do to add a little bit more information in here. And yeah. I don't know why I don't know why it pinches like that. That's just so weird. Yeah. Something like this. Okay. And then this canthal tendon's a little weird. Let's dig this around. Then we can have a little bit of roof fat here. Bring that. Let's shave that down. Right there. Okay. And these are all really quick little sketch things. I would obviously spend a whole lot more time on these things, but you know, just to make it valuable and not spend an entire stream sculpting on one thing. Hopefully this will give you a nice quick little rundown of the things that you should be changing to make this a little bit more believable. And then around your nose, you definitely want to dig in around the nostril. And you got your alar cartilage, needs to go back up into the nose here. So that's going to give you this little plane change right there. You're gonna have that right there. Alar cartilage. Right there. And then the nostril. You're going to have the septal cartilage. You're going to have a shelf, and then it's going to dive down into the aponeurosis. So you want to make sure that your aponeurosis is set. Or not your aponeurosis, your nasal aperture, sorry. All right. And yeah, so that's what I would do, brother. And just fiddling around. But yeah. Alrighty. Wow. Spicy, is there an easy way to make lips? I find that the most difficult. Can you possibly show me? Thanks so much. Let's see. Hold on. What? Gaming Mania, awesome technique. Thank you very much. Dudes, come to Mac out here. Brendan Krausehouse, Jabroni. Deezing, can you smell what the spicer is cooking? Especially female lips. Alrighty. Michael Alvarez, what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming in here. Heisenberger coming in hot. What's up, brothers? I haven't seen you in a minute. Andy, you're very welcome. Pizzolaman. Hey, bro. Casper Art, is sculpting really give income to you? Yes, it does. It's the only way I pay my mortgage. Dude Wood just started using 3D software. Where would you suggest starting for sculpting? Learn the program, learn everything that it can do. If you're just gonna sculpt, then I would start with faces, and I would start with the skull and work my way out, and then I would work down the body, going from the skeleton to the subcutaneous muscles, which are muscles right underneath the skin, because those are the ones that are going to influence your sculpture the most. And just work from the skeleton to the muscle to the fat to the skin. Skeleton, muscle, fat, skin. Bizolaman, I got a question. How do you make your streams interesting to watch? I use Houdini and it's hard to stream that with ease. I don't know. I'm just very familiar with anatomy. I'm very familiar with the program in terms of sculpting that anatomy. So I just stick within my wheelhouse, and I'm able to kind of work autonomously, and then just bring, some humor into the stream and all that. But yeah, making them interesting to watch. When I started streaming, I was always looking for some advice like that, and the best advice I got was from Dr. Disrespect, and his advice was, if you're wondering who to be or how to act when you're streaming, be the person you are when you're in your car alone. And be that person times 1,000. All right. Salmon777, the man. Hello, what's going on? Zay, does practice alone make you faster, or do you have to practice sculpt fast intentionally? Both. One will lead to the other, but if you never challenge yourself into getting faster, you never will. Right? So what you want to do is you want to have speed sculpts that you do every week. That's the reason the dojo, if you haven't joined my Discord, you can submit your work to be reviewed by me on the ZBrush live streams. And we also have sculpt offs that are 3 hours every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So last night's theme was Ultra Mega. The week before that was Diablo, and then sometimes I just have concept art that we all sculpt, like this one that we did last week. We just took this guy's art, Govi9807 on Instagram. We took his image, and then we all sculpted it and all that good stuff, right? In 3 hours. So it teaches you to get fast, right? And to not be so precious about everything. Because I think that's one thing that most beginners to intermediates are doing. They're just so precious about everything, and you need to just let it go. Just let it go, and then you can be precious later. But whenever you're initially putting out the sketch, it needs to be very quick, and it needs to read very quickly as well. So, you know, your speed sculpts, your speed is up here, and your talent's down here, and then your talent's going to catch up to your speed, and then they're going to grow exponentially. Right? So you want to make sure that you do speed sculpts so that you can practice getting fast. Because if you get a gig in, like, hey, we need this next week, but we're willing to pay double, then you better double time it, right? And you better be able to do that efficiently. So you want to be comfortable with it. You don't have to be amazing at it, but definitely be comfortable with it. Okay? All right, Frank Uchi, lips. Lips are easy, 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 easy. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a cylinder. We're going to Dynamesh it, okay? So this is the first thing about sculpting lips, is that you need to have a round surface, right? Because if you sculpt it on a flat surface, it's going to never look right, because your lips are never on a box, all right? They're going around your teeth. So that's the reason they call it the barrel of the mouth, right? So first thing you do is you get your Damien standard brush. You go from the center, you make a V, and then you go out, and then you make it a curve, okay? And then you press 1, 1, 1, and then it's going to repeat that for you, okay? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to get your vermilion border, which is basically the border of your lip, right? So we're going to draw that in. We're going to get it right eventually. There we go. And then the bottom lip comes from within the top lip, okay? So we don't want, so what I mean by that is we don't want the edge of this lip and then the beginning of the bottom lip, right? That's not what happens. So it's going from within the top lip, and then we've got that, okay? Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in the pads of the face, or of the lips. So you have the philtrum, and then you have the two pads here finishing off the Cupid's bow, which is what the upper lip is often referred to as. And then you kind of want to straighten this out so it's not so, you know, ugly. And then you want to round this off, right? Round, round, round. This is going to be the furthest bit off of your face right here. You want to dig around that. Right there, smooth it out, reinforce, right there, lips, right there. All right, so next thing is that you want to make sure that your bottom lip is behind your upper lip, okay? You don't want it reversed, because then it's going to look like that. All right, it's going to look like you like crowd edge. So now what we need to do is give it a 1 to 3, right? So your upper lip's going to be 1 in terms of ratio, and then your bottom lip is going to be 3. So if you can think of Angelina Jolie's lips, that's probably the best representation of the 1 to 3. And then you're going to have the nodes of the mouth that you're just going to sculpt and then smooth in. There you go. You got it! Sick of this. Sick of it! All right. And then you can add in all the other stuff. You can add in the philtrum, all that, the orbicularis oris, all that good stuff. Okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. There you go. Oh, my pleasure, Frank. My pleasure. My pleasure. All day. All day. All right, Love Lou. Jeez. All right, this is the last one. It says I need access, Love Lou. What are you doing? What are you doing? Capete, hi. What's going on? Inspired me to model a series, realistic lips on random household objects. Do you prefer many subtools or one tool you move to use clay buildup? For anatomy sculpts, I just want the body as one piece. I don't want a bunch of different pieces. The only thing I want in different pieces is the, the accoutrement of the character. Juan Jose, hasta luego, Spicer. Later. Love Lou, still waiting for access. All right, we're gonna save you till next week, Love Lou. We're gonna save you till next week, okay? So, if you have been learning anything on this stream, and I swear to God, if I go to youtube.com right now and I see like 30 likes on this video, I'm gonna get real pissed, chat. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all 5 seconds to get over to the YouTube, and I'm gonna allow you 10 seconds to get it over 50. All right, and that way I don't continue the stream extremely angry at every single one of you for not liking the stream. I'm giving you millions of dollars of information every week. Millions of dollars? Yes, millions of dollars. Because a good character artist makes about $100,000 a year. And then you multiply that times 10 years, and that's $1 million of information! So you better like the stream, okay? You better like the stream. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you better hope to God that number is over 50 right now. You better hope. You better pray. 1. And you damn right. 109. Thank you. Finally, some damn love. Some damn love. All right. Thank you very much. Alrighty, so, but if you have been learning something on the stream and you want to have a mentorship with me, I do offer that. It is one-on-one. It's not a classroom environment. The first initial meeting is an interview. We find out where you are, where you want to go, and where I can help you out the most. After that, we're going to have 6 weeks, just one-on-one, you and me, for an hour weekly. And we go over your assignments that are generated for you. They're not generated, for everybody. Everyone gets the same things. So, yeah. So that's going to be 6 weeks, an hour each week, homework, all that good stuff. By the end of it, you should have a collectible that is finished with an environment in motion. And it comes with 100 videos, over 100 hours of content to help you create the collectible of your dreams. We go over male anatomy, female anatomy, details, rendering in Blender, from start to finish, spawn tutorial that is just time lapse, and then the videos that were most important, I did commentary, and then there's follow along. So it's kind of it's not a quadruple speed, it's like double speed, so you can kind of just see from beginning to end how I put it together. And then you can use the coupon code Mega Spicy for 45% off. And that is for the on-demand, for the mentorship and the payment plan. So you can have 3 payments of $285 as well, and the 45% off does go off there. If that is a bit too expensive for you, I do understand, which is the reason I made much more affordable tutorials that you can find on my store at ArtStation. and we go over. I would suggest getting the bundle. It's also on sale. All of them are on sale, but every video that you see here is in this bundle, and every video that I do in addition will be added to the bundle, and you won't have to pay anything else, right? You'll just keep getting added and keep getting added, and you only paid this one price. But every time I add a video, I raise the price. So get in while you can. All right. Lastly, please do keep the dojo doors open. We got ZBHO Dojo shirts, all that good stuff. I do suggest the race car red. It is very sexy. All right. Yeah, so that's what we got. Mark Carroll, thank you for the endorsement. Thank you very much. Frank Uchi, so I can ask any questions. Long as it has to deal with ZBrush and collectibles. Yeah. Comics Legend, hi Spicer, good to see you. Any advice on how to get unbridled speed in ZBrush? That would be amphetamines and lots of speed sculpting. During the mentorship, yeah, we're gonna be one-on-one in a hangout, so you can ask me whatever questions you like. Okay, so I do appreciate all the likes. Thank you for continuing to like the stream. If you haven't, definitely subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, and wherever you are right now, just make sure you subscribe. All right, so before we go, please do follow me into the sanctum of the Scott Eaton Templar. Thank you very much for being here on this stream. I hope you learned something. In fact, I know you did. If this is the first time on the stream, you just got your ass whipped and you liked it. We're going to be back here in 2 weeks. Next week, I'm taking off. None of your business why. Okay? None of your business. So you just mind your own. Okay? But in 2 weeks, you better get your ass back here because we're going to be kicking it. All right? We're going to be kicking ass, taking names, turning on autosave. And I hope you're here. So we have 165 million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, septillion people watching right now. But in the end, we are all one.